And so the latest chapter of this intra-city squabble that has many plots and subplots is about to get underway. The return of Marko Rudan to the sideline, Milos Ninkovic pouring more petrol on his strained relationship with his former employers. Sydney FC's desire to exact revenge from last November, all wrapped up in a cacophony of red, black and sky blue noise from the stands. It'll be frantic and fractious, just as any good derby should be. Whether it's Manchester, Merseyside, Milan, Santiago, Seoul or Sydney, these are the games that matter just that little bit more. And CommBank Stadium simply built for nights like these. Not far from where the game of football was first played in Sydney, all the way back in 1880 on Parramatta Common. Then it was a team called Wanderers who played in front of a crowd of around 1,000. 144 years later, a packed house awaits the modern-day version of the Wanderers for the 37th Sydney derby. Rudan back on the touchline this evening. Here's the team he's picked. He makes one change from the side that defeated Adelaide United last week. Josh Brillante drops out of the matchday squad with a hamstring problem, with Sonny Kittel coming in for his first start for the club in what is a bit of a midfield rejig. The German, we think, will play in a more advanced role, with Alex Badalato dropping deeper. Still no Lawrence Thomas, so Daniel Margush continues between the posts, and Zach Sapsford returns on the bench after scoring the winner against Sydney at Allianz last November. One change as well, and a rejig for Sydney FC. Luke Bratton, of course, suspended after picking up 5 yellow cards. So Anthony Caceres will feature alongside Corey Holman, and Max Burgess makes his first start in a month. Ufuk Talay opts not to break up the central defensive pairing of Jake Goodwood, Reich and Hayden Matthews. Gabriel Lacerda therefore remains on the bench, and Ryan Grant captains the team in his 29th Sydney derby. Well, there is Marko Rudan, as we say, back on the sidelines tonight after serving that 2-match touchline ban. Sydney FC fans used to refer to him as the Big Blue Man after his spell there as a player. Tonight, of course, he is their enemy. And these sorts of occasions certainly don't faze Ufuk Talay. During his playing days, he played in the Galatasaray Fenerbahce derbies in Turkey. And he will want his first derby win as head coach of Sydney FC this evening. As we say, it's been a great day in Sydney, but a warm one nonetheless. And conditions near perfect for kick-off. This could be edge-of-your-seat stuff. The 37th Sydney derby is underway. The pride of the city at stake. Who wins it and why, Andy Harper?
Evening, Simon, and to everybody around Australia on the 10 Network and Paramount Plus for what I think will be compelling viewing tonight. I mean, rarely do these matches let you down, but there's a sense of momentum for different reasons around both clubs. And I think it'll go down to the bounce of a ball, Simon. Very difficult to predict. Inconsistent results for the Wanderers over recent...
little flashpoint, Andy.
There'll be a few of them.
Jake Goodwood, right? Just say to Brandon Barella, I don't care that you played for the Socceroos. I don't care you're more experienced than me. I'm here, and get ready for me. In the early, but of course, because of that poor start, playing catch-up, they've got the game's first corner, though. Off the head of Alex Bonnetti.
No, good start to the game. A great chance for the Wanderers, and now Sydney, with their first effort with the ball, have won the corner.
The Wanderers have only conceded 1 goal from a corner this season. Joe Lolly rolls it short. And change of angle and headed in! What a beauty for Sydney FC! And it's the skipper on the night, Ryan Grant, inside 3 minutes to send those sky blue hordes into ecstasy in the corner of CommBank Stadium.
Well, before the game has even really been able to settle on the Harvey Norman replay, it's a pretty routine sequence from the corner, but there is nothing at all routine about this header from Ryan Grant. It's a blistering bash with the forehand into the back of the net. At the Sydney FC end of the ground nominally. What a great start for the Sky Blues. Joe Lolly on point with that really crisp delivery. And that is a banger from Ryan Grant. Well, before the game has been able to settle into any pattern at all. Has had that excellent sign on goal just previous, but Sydney have been menacing from corners for. And you reported that the Wanderers had only conceded one in the lead up till now. And that was just such an emphatic finish from Ryan Grant, and the tackle's really flying in here, which is to be expected.
On the other side of that ledger, by the way, Sydney have now scored 8 goals from corners. That's more than any other team in the league. Here's Max Burgess weaving his way through. Marcelo makes the block. And there are appeals for handball and a penalty awarded for Sydney FC. Goodness me, what an extraordinary start to this Sydney derby. Alex King was well positioned and says handball. Marco Rudan cannot believe it. Fabio Gomez against Daniel Margush. The stutter from the Brazilian, and he sends him the wrong way. And Sydney FC are too clear. Sky blue heaven in a corner of combat.
The penalty is the way it goes nowadays, and this is the way it goes from Fabio Gomez. He doesn't miss, or hasn't yet, from the spot.
But the Wanderers, like a boxer, who just caught 2 very big hits to the jaw. And they've got to settle themselves down, because here comes Sydney FC again. Rampant at the moment, the Sky Blues. Joe Lolly down the right. Now for Burgess. Just overruns it.
Well, the freshness of Max Burgess, it's really something at the moment. And since that remarkably good chance for the Wanderers inside the first minute, it's just all been Sydney.
See if they return. Here comes Sydney FC again. That's a good take by Margush. Flying through the air.
Let's see if the Wanderers can respond quickly now in possession while there are some Sydney players upfield.
Sonny Kittle. That's a handy ball. And Varello is onside here. There's no flag. Big chance, Wanderers. 2-1. Oh, and now the flag goes up. They will check it. Tidy finish by Brandon Varello, but the offside flag was raised, and in accordance with the rules, of course, they are told to keep their flag down until the phase of play is completed. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's off.
Yeah, 3 of them had run offside. And the Sydney defence so well coordinated. It's a good finish in the end from Brandon Varello.
Sydney have pinched the ball back again. Well, they're just not comfortable under that pressure, are they?
Enjoying this utter dominance and creating other chances. They could actually put the game to rest.
Rain still tumbling in Parramatta. At least the Wanderers have stopped the bleeding for now. This is Kittle as they try and launch an attack. Sonny Kittle beaten away by Redmayne. Here's Barello, and Redmayne there again. Good double stop by the Sydney FC goalkeeper.
And that's how it can change. A good passing sequence. Nice work from Lanovic, and then releasing Kittle. Intuitive touch inside. Good effort beaten away by Redmayne. And that's really confident from Brandon Barello, completely belying the status of the game at the moment.
It's been really tough going for the home team. Bartolato punches it out wide for Aidan Simmons. He's being pursued by Burgess and by Caceres. Again, Sydney FC double teaming to good effect. Great balance shown by Caceres, and now Gomez. And they could be in again, Sydney. Here's Joe Lolly. Good save, Daniel Margush, to prevent further damage to the scoreboard.
Now, what a brilliant attack from Sydney, too. Started with Caceres, and just when the Wanderers, like any team, think they've got him, look, he just uses his body more importantly his touch. Immaculate touch. This Sydney attack then was able to continue. The Wanderers defenders, Bonatic dropping off, creating that, or allowing for that little bit of extra space.
Ryan Grant's making his move towards the near post again. It's helped on by Mack and Gomez. Well, he got clean contact. He wriggled clear of his marker. That's what they've been really good at in this first half. Oh, and Clisby was reaching into that. He's connected with Grant, and there's going to be a card here for Jack Clisby. It's just yellow. Clisby. So it's getting an awful lot of Sonny Kittle, and instead Sydney will attack. It's Fabio Gomez. It's a good block made by Alex Bonatic.
One intercepted pass again, and all hell breaks loose from a Wanderers viewpoint. Another good chance. There's good coverage this from Bonatic. Defended that really nicely. He just showed Fabio Gomez where he wanted him to go. Whoopsie.
Oh, they're in trouble again, the Wanderers. Fabio Gomez. Margush redeems himself. Goodness me. Well, that was like the Keystone Cops at the back there for Western Sydney Wanderers. And they were very nearly made to pay the price.
Well, it's a hospital pass, and Hendricks is feeling worse for wear. And Sydney, again, on this evidence, now they should have put this game out of the question.
High defensive line for Sydney FC. Hendricks sends up the signal, and it's a good area, and it's headed over by Alex Bonatic.
Well, according to the assistant referee, onside too from the free kick, which was just beautifully flighted. And I suspect if it goes in and they do the replay, it's probably going to stand, but it's got to go in first, and from that range, the youngster needs to score. It's an excellent free kick.
Squirms away from the reach of Sonny Kittle, and Lolly. Brilliant vision to pick out Mack, and Sydney FC are on the move forward again. Mack against Marcelo. Marcelo stands his ground. Burgess first to the rebound, goes down inside the box. Alex King right on the spot. Burgess again. Trying to jockey for position, and earns his team a corner. Shorts. Again, the Wanderers a little slow to react. Drilled in low by Robert Mack. Back through Caceres. Mack. Time to turn not once but twice, and he's in position for the return. It's Robert Mack! And that could have been curtains for the Wanderers.
Very statuesque type defending. Almost like stunned mullets. But they've escaped.
Well, the Sydney FC press might have been made in Prussia, but it's been perfected in Parramatta. What a first half for the Sky Blues. Ryan Grant giving them the lead from Joe Lolly's corner after 3 minutes. And then Fabio Gomez from the penalty spot after Lachlan Brook had handled the ball inside the box. A Sydney performance so good, the RBB have walked out. Do the Wanderers have a response in the second half? We'll find out at the break in Parramatta. It's Western Sydney Wanderers 0, Sydney FC 2. So Alex Badalato is the player replaced for Western Sydney Wanderers. Hayden Matthews for Sydney FC, and we are all set to go for the second half. Wanderers getting the ball back rolling, kicking from left to right on your screens, and almost a mistake from the kickoff from Marcelo. Just about managed to recover the ball. Might we see a change in approach from the Wanderers? I'm sure we won't from Sydney, and that's evident even from the kickoff. They're still pressing high.
No, that'll have worked.
And the Wanderers can look to spring forward through Aidan Simmons on the right. And there was an arm across from Robert Mack, but it's not prevented his progress. Still going Simmons. And the loose ball picked up by Sonny Kittle. Bit of encouragement for the home fans. This is Jorrit Hendricks. Wide right is Brandon Borello. Looking to steal in behind Courtney Perkins, who stuck like glue to the Socceroo. Marcelo. Hendricks. Square for Alex Bonatic, who had one of the Wanderers' best chances in the first half. Wasn't the best ball from Bonatic, and Sydney steal it. Robert Mack is clear and makes it 3-0. No mistake. Another error from the Wanderers, and they have been punished. And Robert Mack, who scored in the finals win here in Parramatta late last season, has done it again. And Sydney are surely set for the points now.
Well, it's been a more boisterous start from the Wanderers to this second half, but the Harvey Norman replay shows their passing again has brought them unstuck. And the squeeze on Caceres forced a ricochet that ended up at the feet of the Slovakian international Robert Mack. He doesn't miss. It's a really assured finish. A lot can go wrong in those 1v1 situations, but he makes it look easy. And Sydney skip 3 clear. Impossible pre-game to predict this scoreline.
Joe Lolly with the set piece. Nice tail to it, but cleared by the Wanderers defence. Retrieved by Max Burgess. Finds the angle for the cross. Now the Wanderers will look to break. And it's a useful ball, that's by Kittel for Milanovic, who was trying to release the runner, who was Lachlan Brook in the middle. What about that for a last gasp, desperate intervention?
Well, I think it sums it up. Look at, you can track Joe Lolly, who was rather deep from that attacking situation.
And getting that important touch now. The rebound will favour Nicholas Milanovic. Big chance, Wanderers. Couldn't take it.
Well, he's adjudged to have been offside. The form he's in, expected that to bulge the net.
Beaten in their last 6. They are on a march, Sydney FC. Another turnover by the Wanderers. This time by Clisby. Caceres dances his way through a couple of defenders. Oh, Beadling and Margush have got into a terrible mess here, and Fabio Gomez says thank you very much. It's 4-0, and it's the ultimate embarrassment for the red and black. They committed football suicide there. And Sydney are 4 clear.
Well, the demolition is nearly complete. On the Harvey Norman replay, Fabio still had to decide to chase that one down and sniff the opportunity, but it was all done for them. In fact, again, it was poor possession on the far touchline. The Wanderers couldn't keep possession. They've been spooked into the errors that forced the turnover, and then as they try to play out, it just goes so horribly wrong.
Well, just under half an hour to try and add to their tally. Could be a chance here for the Wanderers, but Sapsford just left it too short for Farias.
Yeah, the Sydney recovery run was too vigorous.
Sapsford muscles off his man of the ball. That's a very clever ball forward and fired into the side netting by Tom Beadling. He's hoping for a corner, but he's not going to get one.
Yeah, some green shoots for the Wanderers. Lucky Brook, that was a brilliant little touch. It was decent control.
Lolly. Here's Robert Mack. It'll spin out towards Lolly. He'll cross towards Gomez, who's on a hat-trick, of course. Just over the crossbar.
Well, that was a good leap. That was a good leap. A man of his stature, I just can only
He's got
repeat.
that in his locker.
Yeah, he doesn't show it often, but this is a really good leap.
And then a home game against the Mariners.
Well, yeah. Well, I was just, before you bring the schedule up, I was going to say the three teams that are playing with any sort of...
Just break off and see if Zach Sapsford can finish this. Deflection, they have one back. Zach Sapsford will claim it. Took a touch off the defender. Andrew Redmayne is going to have to wait again for that clean sheet. The Wanderers are on the boards. It might not make any difference to where the points are going, but it's some consolation. And Zach Sapsford, who scored, of course, in late November, is the architect again.
Well, the deflection on the Harvey Norman replay off the unfortunate Jake Girdwood-Reich, who's close to the best player in the field. This has to pass the offside test first. It was line ball, the deflection beating Redmayne, nothing he can do about it.
Shikluna. Brandon Borello in acres of space on the right. That was the intended ball, but well cut out by Burgess, who's looking a little bit leggy and he's been dispossessed, and the shot is fired in with real venom by Brandon Borello after Zach Sapsford had nicked the ball away, and Redmayne forced into making a pretty good save.
Yeah, great reflexes from the orange wiggle towards zero, as he's named this evening. Great piece of work from the goalkeeper. Just look at that work from Jake Girdwood-Reich, who's playing as a left centre-back.
There's Courtney Perkins, meantime, who's not quite got the energy to get around the fullback, and the shot from Kucharski got a touch off Margush, and it's going to be a corner. So
from left centre-back, the ball comes out to the near touchline, the Wanderers' right wing. And as one player Sydney is beaten, Girdwood-Reich is there to get in front of the Western Sydney Wanderers player to win the ball. This is a near thing for a fifth for Sydney too.
Joe Lolly going to have a crack here, fancied he might. Scored in any of his last 5 games, Joe Lolly. He always contributes. Simmons places it out in front of Parias. Can he find the right cross? It's not bad, and Redmayne makes a good save actually to deny Zach Sapsford another late consolation.
Yeah, got great angle on that header, Sapsford. Very difficult to execute that one. Ball in for Parias, whose speed got him to possession before the byline. Delivery is really well dealt with from Sapsford, and Redmayne has to save and does so very, very well.
The demolition derby is complete for the 3rd trip running. Sydney FC win the derby at Combank and ease above their cross-city rivals on the ladder. For the 5th consecutive derby, it's the away team that wins out. Ryan Grant got them on their way after just 3 minutes. Fabio Gomez grabbed a brace, one from the penalty spot, and Robert Mack got on the score sheet as well. Zach Sapsford with a late consolation for Marco Rudan's team, but they were well beaten tonight. Final score at Combank Stadium: Western Sydney Wanderers 1, Sydney FC 4.